The purpose is to find ways to essentially alter the radiation balance of the Earth, which means to reflect more sunlight back into space and thereby reducing the temperature of the planet. There are methods that are very simple on the ground, like painting your roof white or changing different kinds of plants to reflect solar radiation differently and reflect it back into space. So at one end, we have these kinds of technologies. At the other end, there are some very controversial and still theoretical technologies like stratospheric aerosol injection, which would inject particles into the stratosphere, and those particles would then reflect sunlight back into space. Most of the technologies that are being considered are still theoretical. The existing computer models, for example, concepts like stratospheric aerosol injection or the marine cloud brightening. But some of the technologies, like the ones that are proposed at the ground level, whitening of roofs, changing the albedo of plants, those are currently available and they are being done in many places. One thing in common is that they reflect sunlight back into space and therefore can cool the planet, so they can all help in reducing the temperature of the globe. What they do not do, none of them, is to actually contribute to the solution of the problem, because they don't address the actual problem itself, the source of the problem. They only address the impact, the temperature. The other issue that comes up for these technologies, like all other technologies, there are a number of potential risks that need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed through appropriate governance. Now, the governance of how you paint your roofs white is obviously much simpler and very different than how you organize the governance of a global stratospheric aerosol injection project. Before any decision could be made whether or not stratospheric aerosol injection could be used, one needs to know a lot more about the way this technology would work, the risk that it would pose to the environment, to the people, and also to better understand how the potential benefits, that is to say the reduced temperatures, would operate globally and perhaps locally and regionally. We know a lot about this, but we certainly don't know enough to take decisions. So we need just better information, more information of how this works, and then convert it into ways that policymakers can then address them and help to make decisions.